DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Draft heads, we meet again. How's everybody doing? Welcome into the KPC. My name is Joe Williams, be your host for this particular episode. Welcome to the first international break, which some folks are pretty excited about and others are definitely not. Did you need a break already? Game week 3. How are we feeling? Hit us up in chat if you're with us live. Say hey. Andrew, what's going on? I see a bunch of people chatting about their records in different leagues. Omar, Draft Espresso, Alec, Quiz Kit's here again. Tom, what's going on? Hey, everybody. If you're listening and you're wondering about this live chat talk, you should hop in. We usually do live streams, 5:30 Wednesdays, Eastern time. McCaperism, what's going on, man? Or person, I suppose. Draft Pie, what's up? Hey, if you guys have questions as we go along or comments, obviously throw them in the chat. We'll pop them on screen and answer them when we have a second. So yeah, let's kick things off. Welcome into the KPC again, the audio companion to the Draft Society website. What is the Draft Society? Well, let me give you my quick spiel. I'm going to make it short today. So basically, the Draft Society is a fantasy football website. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that we offer every single week. Top 75 consensus rankings, waiver wire articles, Sleepers 11, players to pick up off the waiver wire, Ryan's Ghost Point Hunter article, all that good stuff, completely free. And then we also have some offerings that are for the Inner Circle only. So the Inner Circle, the main one is, of course, the Fantasy Toolkit. If you're willing to sign up for the season-long membership, you'll get the Fantasy Toolkit, which is literally our app created by DraftLad. Incredible value. Helps you making pickups every single week. Helps you to make trades. It shows you the power rankings of your league. It gives you your fixture difficulty tracker right in there. It's got game week transaction data. It's got data on fab bids across the community leagues and how much players are going for in fab. It's crazy. There's so much there. But then on top of that, we've got all kinds of other stuff as well for the Inner Circle. Things like rest of season player rankings, sortable consensus rankings over international breaks, which this is one, and we are working on our rankings now. Trade advice that no one else in your league will see. All kinds of other stuff. Set piece taker tracker, etc. Not to mention access to the Inner Circle Discord, which is some of the best value for money in my opinion. Get some insider information, get team news before anybody else does. And just chat with a community that's incredibly knowledgeable. And especially if you have a home league, these guys will help you win your league, I promise you. So check that out. It's pretty amazing. And we think it's a great value. And of course, you're supporting an independent fantasy football website. So we can't appreciate that more. All right. On the KPC tonight, we are talking burning questions. So I've compiled a couple of questions that have become glaringly obvious after these first 3 weeks. And so I'm going to run these past the guys tonight and see what they think and get their thoughts on those. Then we're going to talk about international break stashes and maybe some trade targets. So yeah, we will get into some of the weeds here, some of the things that are tripping people up these first 3 weeks. But first, let's talk to some really, really great gentlemen. We've got Sanji from Banta Boys. We've got Ryan, and we've got Jeannie. How is everybody doing?
Doing all right.
Nice.
Good. Yeah.
Enjoying the break. No stress for waivers as well, I want to say.
The problem is that waivers still go.
Just for IGL, right? DPL, they've delayed it to next week.
True. Yeah. So IGL waivers went Tuesday. That's International Genie League for anybody who's not familiar. You should join next year if you're not in it yet. But yeah, so it does give a little bit of this, like, I don't know, FOMO energy to an international break that should be relaxed, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree more with just getting him out of the way. I mean, it's kind of like a anticipation thing now if you haven't had it yet. So it's actually the opposite of relaxing, I would say. That makes any sense. I don't know if I'm the only one there.
No, yeah, you're on the edge of the seat, just worried about how the USMNT is going to do.
Yeah,
in their meaningless games. Yeah.
Take a
I think what the Genie League does is like a good compromise. So the waivers run, all the players are fresh in your mind. Submit your claims Monday, runs on Tuesday, and then the player pool's just locked until the following Friday, the day before. There's none of that. People
I like that.
Twitter every 2 seconds, see who gets injured, who to pick up.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a good compromise. That way, like, you don't have to go back. Okay, who did well the first 3 weeks? Who was I looking to pick up? And then it's just a mess in like 10 days when you got to do a whole lot of research. At least it's done, and then you could kind of just leave Fantrax alone for like 2 weeks or a week and a bit, I guess.
Yeah, that's actually nice. I don't know. I mean, here we are potting. Like, clearly we think about this all the time. So who are we really kidding here?
I mean, to be fair, like, I'm right now in the middle of a dynasty auction, so I haven't tuned off at all. But I mean, it's still nice to have a little bit of a break. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't have to stress about waivers Thursday and Friday, because right now I'm trying to figure out how much money to bid on youths for the next 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Discovering names I've never even heard before. Like, yeah, it's
like Dibbling.
Oh God.
Why are you doing it now?
because of the international break, it's a perfect time to kind of run the auction. Like, no one is stressing about like waiver runs or anything like that. Like, honestly, you look at the waiver pool for our dynasty league, it is nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So we're basically like, yeah, it's some next.
But you're just gonna start the season game week 4.
Well, I mean, we've started it already. That's the weird thing. Like, yeah, I don't know, but for some.
Oh, this is. I thought you were talking about the draft. Sorry, this is just.
No. This is like a mid-season, but it's like a mid-season. We have a mid-season draft coming up as well, for like a different pool of assets that weren't even released with the others, right? So like at the start of the season. Yeah, so it's like different layers of like drafts and scoring, and yeah, it's intense. Actually, Draft Lad is in that one, so it's been difficult because given like his wealth of knowledge, what he's built, the Fab tool, all of that. Like, go check out that Fab tool. It's absolutely wonderful to just compare leagues and with your mates and stuff like that. But yeah, it's an interesting style of play.
Yeah, I bet. Wow. Yeah, so you didn't have to have, well, I guess so those players haven't even entered the pool yet. Is that what you're saying?
So we're bidding on a few of them right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the sheet right now. So players like Lenny Yoro is being auctioned right now.
Okay.
Like, that's how far back it goes. Omari,
Can you go negative?
Can you go negative?
Can people like give you money to like not bid on Euro?
So, I mean, some people are actually auctioning off their own players as well. Like Mo Salah, for example, he's leaving next season possibly, right? So there's a great opportunity for a league leader potentially to want to, have a run at the title right now. So they're selling Mo Salah for like, a particular price, or like, let's say Luis Diaz for a particular price. Kevin De Bruyne, another one. People are trying to sell. So they're trying to get a shit ton of money to buy players. Like, for example, Somerville is right now being auctioned.
Oh,
right? And that's a great youth player that you want for the next 4 or 5 seasons at least. I want to say, right?
Damn, that's intense.
Yeah,
I love dynasty teams or leagues on paper, but like I've found just in my few experiences that like you kind of lose the forest for the trees because you're thinking in like 4 or 5 year scale, but these leagues never really last that long. So like you lose the first like 2 seasons when it's actually going on because
Right.
you're looking for the future, and then
Right.
it just ends. But yeah, if you're with a bunch of guys that are going to be in the league for the next 5 years, then it's fun.
Yeah, you raise a fantastic point, and I think that's one of the key things you need for a successful dynasty league is a great group of lads that you're gonna be playing fantasy football with for the next few seasons, or has that hunger. I want to say every season. So yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky to have landed a nice group of lads. So
Nice.
Cool, man. I like that. That's a fun discussion to kick it off. I like that a lot. That's cool. Well, yeah. I mean, if any of you are diehards and you're curious and you want some pointers on how to set up a league like that, hit up Sanji. That sounds cool. Nice. All right. Well, let's get into it, guys. I got some questions for you. Got some burning questions for you. So these are going to be things that inevitably, I think, have occurred to all of us, but maybe we just haven't talked them out yet, or we haven't really thought about the implications here just yet. So yeah, I got several questions. I think maybe 4 different ones total before we get into some of our international break stashes, players that we're picking up or we're trying to see if they're on the waiver wire who could have longer term value. So let's get into it. Burning questions. All right, first one, guys. There are more rotation nightmares than ever before this season. And I think that's true. I didn't look it up. I don't know how I would look it up, but I'm fairly certain that's true. So with that being the case, how many rotation risk players are too many for one roster? And then, of course, how are you balancing your high floor players, your players who are hoping to get you 8 to 10 per week versus these rotation guys who have a lot more upside when they do start?
Are we answering one of these at a time?
No, it's all a larger
Rapid
discussion. Yeah.
Okay. I want to tackle that last question. That's a Genie favorite, to be honest. I like that about the high floor versus rotation upside. Usually when I draft, I'll never draft a floor player, to be honest. There's just no need. You could just pick them up after a few weeks. But in terms of when you actually go to proceed into the game weeks in the season, what I like to do is have 1 to 2 maybe like floor players. By floor, I don't mean you have like Menu and Ndidi. It could mean like a solid but not spectacular defender 3, and then a Menu or Ndidi type of guy. And I kind of like to have them on the same team as someone with a high upside. So let's say I have Jack Grealish, which I do in a league. I wouldn't mind rostering like one of their defenders, like Rico Lewis. Like he's been decent. He's not going to win you a week, but he could prevent you from losing a week, if that makes sense. And with United as well, with me especially owning Diallo in every league known to mankind, I have Menu or De Ligt in a lot of those leagues. And well, again, they're not going to win me a league. They could prevent me from losing that game week. Although last week, if I started Diallo instead of Menu, I would have won the week. But that's a whole other story. But it kind of goes hand in hand. Usually that situation won't happen, but it's for those players that you want to start every week. And if you find that they're starting and they're just sitting on the bench and you can't plug them in, all of a sudden they get you 16 points. And instead you started like some random mid-5, mid-6, like a Ryan Christie type because you were just too worried and they only got like 4.5 points, then you're going to be losing more games than you win. So that's kind of how I like to balance it out. So it's a little different maybe than the rest, but it's a strategy that's worked for me.
I'd like to tackle the first statement. I'm not sure that's true per se.
No?
Yeah,
I'm astounded to hear you say that.
I haven't really found that. I mean, I don't think it's that much more than any other season, and I think it's similar in the sense that it's team focused. I mean, it's Chelsea, it's Man City, it's a couple other teams. I don't find it across the board that rotation is insane any more so than previous years.
Well, okay. So I guess look at it. You have to look at it kind of in the way that I am in that. So Ryan, you have to see it the way that I'm seeing it. Otherwise, you're wrong.
I totally agree. I just want you to help me see it the way you see it.
No.
Then we can move on.
What I mean is, and we haven't seen the rotation yet. I agree with that. But there are more players, I think, than ever before who like they haven't gotten their run out yet, and so we're expecting rotation. And once it truly kicks in, I think it's going to be just a nightmare. So yeah, you're right. Like even from teams like Brighton so far, we haven't really seen rotation, but we're fully expecting it. And what happens at West Ham when Somerville's finally bedded in, and like other like what happens at Forest when JWP's finally, into the mix and they have like 17 forwards on that team. Like I think there's going to be more teams this year that you're going to see rotation from, even more than the ones that we're used to seeing in the past, like your Arsenal left wing, your Man City every place on the field, and etc.
Yeah. So you're just kind of pricing it in that it hasn't happened yet, but you're assuming it will.
Yeah, and like a lot of the assets that we're holding because we're expecting that. But I think people are getting a little bit frustrated, especially with guys like your Somervilles, your Dingras, your Enciso, those type of guys. Fuck Darwin.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Maybe I'm just not really. Maybe just not really impacted by it because I stayed away from a lot of those guys, kind of anticipating some of that nonsense.
Yeah.
So,
Full Krug
fair
was
enough.
mentioned in chat.
What
You should
about the
not be
new?
Rashford. Sorry.
No. I was gonna ask, what about the new format of Champions League as well? With all the new amounts of fixtures that they're gonna have, like the top teams will definitely rotate for that. There are way too many games right now.
What's the new format? I
So,
actually
I'm-
don't even know.
Oh, good luck. Go ahead and explain it, Sanji.
Yeah. I'd love to hear this.
No, please, Sanji, you explain it in a way that we can all understand it.
No, I think they're just more group stage games now. I mean, I refused to make sense of whatever table that they created that was basically like what a 16 by 16 grid, like the permutation. I don't even want to get into all the fixtures. But like when I was writing one of the articles, I noticed that I think from game week 4 to game week 9, Aston Villa had, I think, 3 European games and an English Cup game. So that's like a lot of games.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going to rotate, but I don't know how much the small, like, I don't want to say like the small clubs, but the clubs that aren't in Europe, etc. How much they will rotate, right? So it's a tough one, man.
That is interesting. I did not know that. The team I'm scared for. I mean, I've been scared for them since day one. Is Aston Villa. They need Barkley and Buendia to get up to speed, and Watkins to be better than Chris Wood. So, yeah, that team's gonna scare me a bit. And now Bailey's out with a injury, and we know that a 2-week injury with him could turn into 7 weeks, 8 weeks. So,
I think they'll be okay. I know we've had this back and forth on Villa before, but I think they spent wisely over the summer. I think they have some decent depth. I mean, barring a few more injuries in addition to Bailey, and I think Emery does a pretty good job given his track record at Europe of optimally rotating and getting the best out of his squad. But yeah, we shall see. Yeah, the new format's a good point. I just haven't had the time to go through it. I saw the groups, and then I saw that teams from different groups played each other, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, people in chat are kind of, I think speaking to what I'm getting at is like, Mars is saying like, when do we give up on Somerville? People asking about Gruda, Ruter, different players like that. It's like when are we? Fulkrug is another one. When are we? Or how long are we holding these guys? And what kind of roster flexibility do you really need to be able to hold them?
some of them are just not worth holding. Like Fulkrug, that guy he's not gonna hash it out in the Prem. I don't expect him to be here next season. That offside clip, it just makes me so mad every time. How could someone be that slow and
I
be
saw
a player?
saw a great tweet that said that he was basically Danny Ings with worse teeth.
Oh God.
Oh Lord.
He's probably way worse than Danny Ings, but
Yeah, Danny
so
would have gotten to that, I think.
there's
Danny
a
boy.
lot of players that are just not worth holding. Either it could be for two reasons. I'm not saying they're going to be bad assets. I'm just saying like you're wasting a roster spot on someone that you could pick up in like 2 or 3 weeks, or someone that someone will rush pick them up and then drop them when they don't start next game week. It's one of those where you got to decide, is it worth it to win these next 2-3 games, or is it worth it to hold out and lose? Like I've dropped some players that I'm huge fans of, like Luke Shaw, for example. Like there's just no need to hold him, and Mr. Setback King, who had another setback. So like I said, like I dropped them, and I was able to pick up a player that almost won me the week because of that. So again, it's a trade-off. A lot of you're not dropping Leon Bailey, obviously. Somerville, like personally, I've dropped them in my leagues, but again, we all know I have a more aggressive ad drop strategy. He's one. He's close. He's close. He's very
also the
close.
question is like, how much did you spend on Somerville? Because if you
fifth round.
But exactly, like if you spent a 4th or 5th round pick on him, or you spent more than like 50 fab, then I think you probably owe it to yourself to just wait and see if he pans out, because otherwise, that's just. I know about sunk cost fallacy. I don't want to play into like hold him until it's completely obvious that you've lost out on a million other players because you've just held him. But at the same time, if you thought he was going to be an asset 2 weeks ago, that shouldn't probably have changed yet.
Well, I mean, he's getting the thing that changed for me is how garbage he was in that cup game. How he didn't come off the bench in game week 2, and how he got like the last like couple of minutes in the dead rubber against. I think he came on after City scored their last goal. I might be wrong about that one. So
No. He got 3 minutes.
Yeah, so he's just getting time that's just, it's not indicating that he's any closer to cracking the starting lineup. Like it could be a while. It could be like game week 8, 9, 10, even longer. He'll be hooked at 60 minutes for sure. And then after that, he gets 4.5 points and he's going to be dropped. So personally, I'd rather drop him now. Again, some cost, of course, but you could have picked up someone like, let's say like a Collins or something, who definitely would have helped you win a week or two, maybe even more, with the way he's performing. So there's just no need to hold those rotational players. Plus, wasn't Somerville not even that good as a fantasy asset for Leeds? I can't fully remember how.
No,
He was pretty solid.
He was great.
He was pretty good.
Come on.
Well, okay, I must be confusing him with a different Leeds guy, but there was
you're confusing him with every other player
like
under
Willie.
Lopetegui.
No, I'm looking at his stats right now. 12 starts, 4 goals, 2 assists, 5.4 fantasy points per game. He had a season high score of 29, and then after that it was like 18 and then 10.
And did that while playing for Leeds.
I mean,
but are West Ham that much better?
Yeah, definitely. They've got a much better team.
He's not starting against Fulham. He's not starting against Chelsea. I can't see him starting against Brentford. Maybe Ipswich, and then poor performance there. He gets dropped for Spurs, United, Forest. Like you're holding this guy for how many weeks? Like if he doesn't start game week 4, I already dropped him and no one picked him up in my league. Not a home league, but
no one picked him up.
No, they're gonna wait for a start. This is a league where everyone has like a ton of forwards. Also, like
that's the other thing.
Forwards.
Wow.
If he was a mid, I feel like you probably hold him a bit more.
Are like, I'd rather hold Delap, if I'm being honest. Like that's the level for me.
I love Delap. He's great.
Yes, and Ogbene, like those two.
Who are the top 5 scoring assets for West Ham right now?
Probably Bowen.
Bowen is
Bowen had
number
a good
1.
game.
Bowen's Kilman
Kilman.
is number 3.
Mavropanos, maybe.
Mavropanos is number 4.
Wan-Bissaka?
Suchek is 2.
Fifth one.
Paqueta, maybe?
Paqueta is 5. Yep. I mean, that tells you, I feel like everything you need
Kudus,
to
man.
know. Kudus is in the
In the mud.
6.5 points per game.
Oh. Man.
It could have been so
Just
much
early
better against
second
City,
round.
though. Like, he
He-
could have had 15 against City.
At least he
could've
looked
scored
really good against City.
Yeah, Dan, he
Yeah.
hit that post. Man, he has to bury that.
that. Yeah.
But overall, I think we're seeing a pretty concerning trend, I think. I mean, and they've had a tough start to the season.
Well, they've played. Okay, Villa's not. I'm lower on Villa, obviously.
No, Villa's
Palace,
that's a
they-
tough game. That's a tough
Yeah,
game.
that's
Palace, they won 2-0, so there's really no huge excuse there. I mean, some of their players, like Kilman, decided to put up probably a career high score.
I'm so lucky I got through that Kilman test, man.
But then you have Kudus and Paqueta, who did absolutely nothing, and Somerville didn't even get a minute in that game. So
Somerville came close to scoring last game, eh? Edison made a really good save, man.
on Somerville,
Yeah.
but he's gonna continue to be that come on against tired legs for Bowen or Kudus or someone like that, and then hope that either he brings them back in the game or could get some confidence. I think he's a good buy, but I just don't think he's gonna be a huge fantasy star, at least in the first half of this season.
So,
Yeah,
so
he's- yeah. Sorry, go
like,
ahead.
do you think Somerville will continue to get sub appearances though? And do you think anyone is crazy enough to want to hold on to him that badly that they maybe start him?
No,
No.
he's not one you start from the bench. That there's very few players that you should feel confident about starting from the bench, and Somerville's probably near the bottom of that list.
Hmm.
And there's no guarantee he comes on. Like if he comes on for like 5 minutes, and he doesn't get like a shot on target or something, you could be looking at a -1 with some dispossessions based just on the fact he's a winger and stuff. But
Yeah.
he's a drop for me, man. Like that, there's no need to hold that. He's not exactly like I can't think of another. It's like Foden, someone like that who's hasn't really played many minutes yet. Obviously, it's for a whole different reason, but you're holding on to a league-winning asset versus holding on to a potential forward 4, forward 3 type of player. It's
Yeah, that's
I'd rather-
fair.
You could probably get some fab for him, so I'd try that and then drop him if nothing.
Let's talk about some players like that. So, second burning question. I want each of you to give me one player who fits into each of these 3 categories. So, one for each category. We'll start with the first one. The first one is seen enough. This is basically your sell low, which we always warn against. Like, do not sell low, right? Like, there's no reason to sell low. But 3 weeks in, is there anyone you've seen enough from that you're like, it's just not happening this year? Get what you can for him.
On
it's
a
so
first
weird.
note, I do love a sell low. To be honest, that's a genie special as well. I actually talk about it in this week's article coming tomorrow. I think Ryan's already read that take.
Nobody likes to sell low. That means that you're getting killed on value, but
I'm
you're
not
getting
saying
the pleasure of not getting worse value.
exactly. I'm not
Exactly.
saying like
Love this.
these players. I'm not saying these players are like droppable, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah, I know. Good.
they're not delivering at what we expected them to, and you almost would rather have the wiggle room in your roster.
I think Rashford is the main one for me.
That's what Ben Chickens just said in chat.
Oh, okay. yeah, he's the one that I kind of crossed my mind the second you said that.
Somebody I've been thinking about actually is Ben White.
Oh,
That's a good one,
interesting.
actually. That's a good one.
Because I don't think it's a sell low per se. I still think you can probably maybe get close to draft day value, but I just don't see it happening for him this year. Just in terms of like his lofty numbers from last season. I mean, I'm trying to remember his specific score, but I think game week 2 he got a clean sheet and he only got like 8 points. I want to say
7.
7.
7. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just not ghosting much. At
Last
the
week
moment.
was good though. I'm looking.
Yeah,
at the
last week
schedule
was
now.
good. I think 8.5 with conceding a
Yeah,
goal.
7.5, and then he got 10 against Wolves, but that was with a
That was a clean sheet.
So that's what, like 4 points, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't want to. It's not a sell low. Like I still think you can get good value for him, especially given the schedule. Because after Spuds and City, there's pretty favorable run there. But I think I've seen enough to know that like he's not going to replicate last year's numbers, is what I'll say.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's fair. We've got a lot of shouts in chat. Sanji, do you have one before I shout out some of these chat?
Sell low, boy. I almost want to gravitate towards the million Chelsea assets that everyone owns in the league. Because
Sell low, Mudryk.
it's gonna be. You shouldn't even roster Mudryk.
Yeah,
please.
I agree.
That would be a crime.
Sell low on Nkunku.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's the first one that actually I came across like while listening to them here.
Oof.
'Cause I own him in a league as well.
Oh,
It's the league we're all in together.
Yeah. You
Somebody
don't
offered
need
me in Cuckoo for Morgan Rogers.
whoa.
I think I'd rather Rodgers. It's sad.
Yeah, I declined it immediately. I was like, no thanks.
That's wow.
But
Imagine preseason. Imagine
yeah,
that.
exactly.
That's crazy.
The
it
draft
just
is
seems
very.
like, isn't he on like the B team? It almost seems like he's the leader of that B team. That's what it's looking like.
I wouldn't say it's a B team. I
No,
think,
but like the non-prem team. If
yeah,
that's what you would
let's
call it.
sure, because I mean, he's taking penalties without Cole on the pitch.
Mhm.
Like,
What's up with the balloons?
why not? Balloons are fantastic.
No, I don't.
They
I
are.
don't
They
get
are.
it. I just all I see him is pictures of him like blowing a balloon. Where does he get these balloons? What's the deal?
I mean, it's the same
to do
place
with
that
his
Aubameyang
song,
pulls
right?
out his
Like,
like
it's-
Wakanda mask.
Yeah,
while
but that was
celebrating.
cool. Like blowing a balloon, unless you're making a giraffe out of it or something. Like,
I mean, have you seen Palmer's celebration? We aren't the most creative bunch when it comes
No,
to
that's
the celebration.
I like that one. It's just I get that one. I just don't get the balloon thing.
I think it's something to do with his kid or something. I could be completely wrong. But
Never looked into it actually.
Me either.
Yeah, please. No, I don't.
No,
get
we
it.
don't have to. We don't.
Somebody
we
in
don't have
chat
to.
might know. But
Yeah.
I mean, like even players like Pedro Neto as well. Like you see him, he got the assist off the bench, and then he started the last game. But like, how consistent is that going to be? I
Right.
know, like
He's awful.
Arsenal. I know. Like Arsenal, for example, have really good attacking players, and they rotate as well. But I think their rotation is easier to digest than ours is going to be for the season.
Because you know the few that are going to get rotated, but in Chelsea,
Yeah.
like almost all of them, outside of Palmer and probably Jackson, are going to be
Yeah.
rotated.
Spin a wheel, like, and whoever you land
Yeah.
on, they're probably gonna start. And the messed up thing is that whatever combination you land on is probably still going to be able to click on the pitch. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
No, that's a good one. All right, sell low. Chat says Adingra.
no, not yet. He's-
Really?
No, I write about him in the article tomorrow. I actually like Dinger. If he's dropped in my league, I'm picking him up with every ounce of fab I have, which is 0 in every league. But I'm still putting in that bid.
I thought Adingra would be a sell high though.
For what?
Yeah, where does he get in? He's not coming in from Matoma.
I do think he
I
could.
don't. I know you think Mincy's going to be
Yeah.
dropped, but
Yeah.
I don't see why he would be.
Ryan.
He's looked great. I've watched 2 out of 3 of their games. He's looked fantastic.
Really, I have the
Yeah.
complete opposite opinion.
Oh no,
I
he's
think,
good.
I think he's gonna. I think Adinger is gonna make it very hard for Minta to stay in the starting 11 for 38 games. I do think Adingra.
Oh, for sure.
I think he's going to get his chance sooner than we think, and it's about does he take his chance or not. So, like, I'd rather him than Somerville if we're looking at upside players to hold, because at least he's proven he could hash it out in the Prem on this Brighton team, and Brighton are a very good attack.
Yeah.
I'd only roster Adingra if I also had Minty or another potential rotation piece at Brighton. It's just like with Chelsea or any other team that rotates like that. You can't just have them by themselves. They're just a nightmare.
It depends. If he's like your mid 7 or something, if he starts, great. If he does it, like, you don't actually use him, like
I think
we're
seeing
depends on your roster.
Yeah. I think we're seeing who Hertzler likes, at least prefers at this point. And I do think you're going to see rotation, but like I would never roster.
I think you will.
I would never roster both of Enciso and Adingra and March. No. Like I would only do like Matoma and Adingra or Adingra and Minte. Like there's no way I'm going to try to amass Brighton assets like I maybe would with like City guys.
Is it possible to buy the farm? I don't know if I understand sell the farm, but what happens if you buy every single Brighton asset under the sun?
You're going 0-38.
I've seen some Chelsea buy the farm guys. Yeah.
Yeah, people are doing that for Chelsea. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, Sanji, is sell the farm like an American term that is not known other places?
Well, I don't know if it's American, but I assume sell the farm means you're selling every single animal, the chicken, the cow.
The chicken.
We'll get there. All right, missing in action. So I just want one trade target for each of these guys, right? One trade target. So this is a player who hasn't played yet, or very, very, very minimally, who you are actually targeting to bring into your team. Foden being the obvious example.
Ooh. Højlund for me from United.
Okay, I like that.
He's back in full training, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him start against Southampton, but if he doesn't, then he'll definitely start the next week.
Xerxes looked okay. You think he just falls right out?
Yeah, I think Højlund, he was having a good preseason and then he got hurt. I mean, Xerxes brought there because Højlund is such an injury risk, and he's already proved that last year and this year. But you could probably get him for dirt cheap unless it's a United fan. That's my honest take. So
that's fair.
I like Estupinian a lot. Hasn't started yet, but is finally back fit, it seems like, and dropped 6 in a 17-minute cameo against Arsenal. Obviously, they were unjustly up a man, but he looked good, and I was all about him even before the season. So he's a big trade in for me.
I'll go Rodri.
Okay.
Not played a minute of the season yet. I mean, they look like they can function without him. So I don't know if that's on the seller's mind as well. But yeah, I mean, he's a solid mid 2.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, last year he was a mid 1.
Yeah. So you assume worst case scenario drops into mid 2 range, and yeah, I think again in another season where everyone is struggling for dependable mids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine someone owning Casemiro right now. He's absolutely dead asset. You probably want a Rodri, right? Similar ilk, steady Eddie with that upside.
True. Or somebody who like drafted Wharton thinking he was going to be better.
Hey, I traded in Wharton. I would never draft him. That is a horrendous idea. We know I'm not drafting defensive mids. Oh God. I traded him in for like Odebear, so it's like trash for trash.
Yeah, that's fair.
I thought I could flip him for a profit. I was wrong and then dropped him.
Let's see who else. What about Ward-Prowse?
Oh,
I'm not high on this Ward-Prowse.
Sanji, you bought him with a bunch of fab.
I spent way too much money on him, but I'm so happy about it.
How much?
75.
I think that's worth it.
That's what I thought. But then the second highest bid was like 20 or 25.
Damn.
All right, well, it's all relative.
I mean, it hurts. It hurts knowing you could have spent way less, but
yeah,
still,
there's nothing worse.
you got your guy.
Yeah, I'm really happy with him. I mean, Joe, I was gonna ask you about Nunez being a Liverpool fan. Like, where you standing with him?
I wouldn't. I'm not trying to trade him in. The only way I'm doing that is if I can deal somebody who has overperformed and I don't think is going to keep it up.
Adama.
I would.
Oh,
Jeannie, you wouldn't do that, would you?
No chance. I think I have Nunes ranked lower than Adama by like 10 spots in my ranks. I'm not giving up Adama for.
I'm kind of worried, guys. I don't know that Slot rates him as much as he said he did preseason. I think we're starting to.
Start, he's not playing even close to 90.
Yeah,
like, he'll be lucky to get to 65, right?
Right. Exactly. I think. I mean, given what you've said, Sanji, about the Champions League plus the League Cup and all those different things, I think he might be in our non-Premier League squad.
Yeah, but Jota's not the most durable guy. At some point, he's gonna get his shot. Whether or not he can keep it.
But I think it's going to be rotation. As long as Jota's healthy, I think he's going to get the majority, like let's say 2/3 of the game. So I that's why I'm not trying to trade in Darwin right now. He'll have his games, I think, but I don't think they're going to be plentiful, if you will. Cool. All right, sell the farm. So sell the farm is basically another way of saying buy high. So this is, you're just going to throw whatever you possibly can at another manager and just see if you, because like you're so high on this player rest of season that you don't mind overpaying for him.
Man, I love Cunha.
Cunha is awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely love him.
He had a rough match though, didn't he, against Forest?
Yeah, hit the post against Forest and against Chelsea.
I didn't see the. Okay, so 8.25. But if he'd have scored, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. And
that's
8.25 ghost as a forward is money.
You're right. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, that's
take
fair.
that every week. Taking some sets now. He's got an eye for goal. Like I said, hit the post twice and already scored one in 3 games. Their schedule has been a little tough. Once it softens out a bit, I think he's going to be lights out. And the best part is I don't think you'd have to sell the farm because he's doing well, but he's not like going nuts yet. So I think you can still get him for a decent price. But yeah, he's somebody, if I didn't already roster him in almost every league, that I would try and trade in.
I like that one. Anybody else? Who are you selling the farm for?
For me, I have 2. First is, well, it's pretty predictable, Adama, but I have him everywhere and more. But there is a lot I would give up to get him. Even if I didn't roster him, I'm pretty sure I'd be able to get him in on every league just based off what I would offer. The second one is basically De Bruyne. I'd give up literally any player to get him right now. There's one league I don't have him, and I've offered Bruno +1 for him, and it got rejected. I was very heartbroken. But yeah, that's one player I'm definitely offering everything and more to get.
We've gone back and forth in the chat about this one. I don't get it, but to each his own.
He will be the number 1 PPS player with at least 28.
Yeah, 15 starts. Great.
No, 28. He's getting at least
28.
Oh God.
I don't think he's gotten 28 since he was like since he was 28.
Let's see. He got 28 the year before last. Then he got 25, but 30 games played. and then 23, and then 32. So it's just really one bad year.
I mean, father time. And if you're talking about the extra Champions League games, I mean,
No, he's not touching those. That's where Gundogan comes in. That's his role.
look at you.
Wow.
Pronounce it correctly.
I had to hesitate for a minute.
I heard that, but I appreciate it. I love that.
Yes. Now we just got to work on Soboslai.
Oh God, I'm never saying his name again.
Oh man. I think I'm probably selling the farm for Salah. Honestly, if there's any way I could get him into my team,
Really?
I'm doing it.
I mean,
yeah.
he's a Liverpool fan as well. I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like you and Saka, Ryan.
Yeah, but I have him in one league, and like I'm a little worried.
Really?
Yeah.
He hasn't scored fewer than 14.5 points.
Yeah, that 14.5 game, like he was on 0.5 until like the 60th minute when he scored. So like this is a good schedule, and I'm not seeing many ghosts out of him. So and he doesn't fall in the De Bruyne category because he's a freaking monster.
Right.
And it obviously takes care of himself, but like he's not getting any younger either.
9.2 ghosts. He's fine, dude.
I don't know, man.
He's all right. He's all right.
Ryan loves the ghost, man. If he doesn't see 11 or 12, it's a drop.
He's dead to him.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I need 12 to 15 ghosts, otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about your braces.
You have like three.
Goals.
You have like 3 players on your team. I have a firm 12 to 15 ghosts rule.
I don't know. I think he might be a sell high, but maybe that's just me paranoid.
I think you could sell very high if you wanted to.
Like who would you even aim for outside of Saka? And well, obviously we know I'd take De Bruyne over Salah, but
I mean, you'd have to aim for like a package of like 2 or 3 like just under elite level players, like a Gordon and Foden or.
Oh yeah,
something
no,
along
you're
those lines.
you're taking whoever that manager is. You're taking their first and second round pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think they give up Saka +1, but like, yeah, I get what you mean. Like a late first round.
Saka would be the only one I'd do one for one. I think I'd do Palmer.
Ooh,
that's actually close for me. I think I have them like 5th and 6th.
He's the fact that he's a mid, and I think they'll end up with similar numbers. Tips it over for me.
You could not have teed me up better. Unless Sanji, do you have anybody you want to sell the farm for?
Yeah, I mean, chat had one that I wanted to go with from CJ. He had a Embuemo. I think when we all drafted, there was still that uncertainty about Thiago's impact on the team, Tony staying, leaving, that sort of stuff. And now that we know Thiago's injured, Tony's gone. Embuemo on a lot of set pieces, penalty. Main focal point of the attack. Like, I think he's gonna end up falling around that end of round 1, sort of round 2 sort of value rest of the season now. I think another shout out for McAllister. He's not a lot of people are talking about him, but he's scoring so well without attacking returns. Like, Ryan, you must love him right now.
McAllister?
Sure? I thought
Is he not?
like garbage.
I mean, he's hovering around like the 10 or 11 range, is he not?
You're talking about Alexis McAllister.
Yeah, is he not?
3.25, 8.5, 6.25.
3.25, that's 9.25, no?
No. It's 3.25, 8.5, 6.25.
Oh, I'm looking at a different scoring league. Sorry about that. My bad.
Yeah, this was about to say.
That's probably why.
I thought you were talking about.
No. So in this league, we do positive points because Fantrax does no negative scoring, but it's an experimental little league where you have no bench, no IR spots. You're just playing an 11, so you get bonus points, like 6 for starting and then 3 for subbing on, because you can't do negative points if they don't start or if they're not in the roster. So it's an absolutely high turnover.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got some wild ass leagues, my man. Like,
Yeah.
Just having fun with Fantrax, man. Exploring all the different possibilities.
that's cool. That's cool. No, I mean, and it is like, yeah, that's the beauty of Fantrax, I guess. If there is a beauty to Fantrax, aside from it being kind of convoluted and hard to understand for the newbies, it's so customizable.
Yeah, apologies. 3.25, 8.5, 6.25. I stand corrected. But yeah,
Not great, not
Mbuemo
great.
would be my pick. So
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Kai, and you just said McAllister. but-
no. Kai, why would you let go of Kai? No one that owns Kai is letting go of him, surely.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you'd have to sell the farm.
Yeah, I wouldn't take your farm.
Exactly. I don't think anyone's taking a farm for that. Maybe 2 farms, if possible. But
All right, Ryan, you mentioned potentially trading Salah out for a midfielder. And then, so this is what I was referring to, and I said you teed me up. So basically, my question to you guys is, what the hell is going on with midfielders? So people who drafted heavy on midfield are sitting really pretty right now, because you've got trade targets for the rest of the league, and you can basically, I mean, you can flaunt their value because the rest of the midfield field is shit. Like, I don't know what is going on. Basically, I feel like every team had to kind of end up dropping 1 to 2 of the midfielders that they drafted. This because they didn't pan out, or they didn't end up starting, or whatever it was. And then more than ever, we're seeing, I think, just midfielders we expect to perform scoring fewer than like 7 points per start. And I just don't understand it.
In my league that I did the 7 mids in the first 7 rounds as a joke, turned out to be the greatest blessing in disguise. I don't know. It was the Genie League, and like, I take that league pretty seriously, but I was like, you know what? Like, let me just try something different, because I'm not doing FAFC. So I went 7 mids for 7 rounds. I went De Bruyne, Madison, Martinelli, he who must not be named from Liverpool. And then who did I go next? Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish, and Diallo. So I traded out Bernardo Silva for Anthony Robinson, and I still have set and forget 5 mids with Grealish and now Ferdy from Brighton sitting on my bench. So I've managed to get a decent forward line. I have Adama, I have Højlund, I have Evanilson, who I thought was good, but I did have Elanga as well. So, and there's probably Delap or something that I could get in for cheap or something. But basically, yeah, that's the league I'm most confident in doing well in. And it's the one that I didn't draft a forward till round 10, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a similar league where, my forward 1 is basically, depending on how you look at it, either Minte, Adama, or Wood. And then I have Visa and Fast Eddie on the bench. So, like, I'm totally fine with that, given the rest of my team is filled with studs. It's just so easy to field 3 pretty good forwards. And yeah, there's such a dearth of mids, and we talk about it kind of every season going into the draft in terms of forward frenzy or midfield madness, however you want to call it. There just seems to be a sense that, depending on the classifications that summer, that there's just too many of one position and too little of the other. And this season, it's definitely, there's a shortage of serviceable mids.
Yeah. But it's worse than just the fact that there are like no mids available. The problem is that the ones like, you bring up McAllister, Sanji, sorry. He has been shit to the point where, like, I had a Wissa from McAllister trade that's just been sitting in the other manager's inbox for 2 weeks. And I finally canceled it because I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my chances on Wissa.
Turned out to be a better bet, to be honest.
Right. So it's like there's more of those mids, I feel like, that are playing a more unfortunate role this season where, they're not as advanced, they're not as involved, that whatever is going on with them Declan Rice is another one we could talk about. Just guys that we drafted in hopes they would repeat what they did last season, and they're just not there. And honestly, the surprise midfielders who have come out of nowhere to score pretty well are very few and far between.
So can you not just roll out like a 3-2-5? 5-2-3. Yeah, start from the back. If the mids are not available, so then with the scoring change for defenders, you can risk starting more defenders.
You could. I mean, Sanjay, let's go ahead and tie in the next question, and we'll have a larger conversation here. 12 out of 30 Premier League matches have resulted in a clean sheet for defenders. Of those, 7 have been from non-streamable teams. I mean, teams where the defenders, the ones you at least want to roster, are rostered. So 7 have been from non-streamable teams: Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City, Newcastle. Given the lack of clean sheets has continued from last season, what's your strategy when streaming defenders? So it's not as easy as it may seem to just trot out 5, because as we saw the other week, I played Christopher Ayer in every league, who had a clean sheet up until the 95th minute.
But aren't you looking at the defenders with, they're okay to concede 1 goal? I'm not looking at how many teams got clean sheets. I'm looking at how many of those fixtures only had a team conceding once.
Oh, that's an interesting point. So for people who are not familiar, Fantrax default scoring had an update this year, and that was that defenders are not getting double punished anymore for the first goal against. So for the first goal against, they lose their clean sheet, but they're not receiving the -2 penalty. So for any subsequent goals, they are receiving the -2 penalty, but for the first goal, they're not. So Sanji, basically then what you're getting is, if you concede 1 goal, you're getting only the ghost points that defender scored.
Yeah. And I think there are a couple of defenders that would be free floating around in your league that get enough ghost points that even you could handle, I think, 2 goals that they concede. So it's just that 1 - 2, whatever. I'm not saying it's a strategy that is tried and tested yet, but somebody like Greaves with the Darashe move, I don't know if he's gonna produce as much, but someone like that you're thinking, okay, he's gonna soak up most of the defensive actions from the team. You go with him instead of, like you said, your Wharton, I guess, right? Is that the example you're giving? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Wharton's the good one for a guy we all had high hopes could kick on and be a little bit better this season, but hasn't been at all. In terms of fantasy.
I don't even want him back. Someone, I hope, Sanjay, Joe, go for it, man. It's in that league. All you. He's not even in my claims. This guy, he sucks, man. Sorry, not in real life. He's a great player, and he's gonna be great. But fantasy, man,
he is gonna be great.
Shoot, when you're banging out with Harry Winks, there's a problem.
Yeah, if you're on set pieces and you're scoring like that, it's just man.
It's
tough.
Just stay on the FA pool. I don't even care that he plays Leicester next. It's that screams disappointment to me.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where you watch the game and you're like, oh man, he's actually in the thick of it and he's probably scoring well, and then he just isn't. As opposed to the guy where it's he doesn't look like he's doing anything, and then he's just somehow getting points. So it's not
Fatawu.
Yeah. Yeah, the perfect example. Yeah, I didn't think he got that many points, and then when he played against Spurs, I look back and it's where are all these points coming from? Someone at Opta rosters him for sure. No question.
Yeah, so what are you guys thinking in terms of streaming defenders? Are you targeting
Ghost, baby?
Yeah, so are you basically
changes.
You're done thinking about clean sheets at this point?
Other than, I mean, in my draft, I was obviously targeting Arsenal defenders when I could, based off of the fact that they're going to have the best defense in the league and get a fair amount of clean sheets. But aside from that, I was just looking at Ghost.
I'm definitely with Ryan. It's I've got a straight Ghost Point masterclass defense in one league: Collins, Mosquera, Greaves, and Wan-Bissaka. And I didn't draft any of those guys, so it's just straight Ghost points for me, man. Especially with this new scoring change. Even if they concede 2, which most teams shouldn't concede more than 2 unless they're Southampton or something, then I'm okay starting them most weeks that aren't City, Liverpool, and Arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so far, like every game week, at least half the fixtures had a team that conceded once. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, just having a quick look through it at like the fixtures on the Fantasy Premier League website. So
No, I love it. That's cool.
I think it's possible. Yeah.
That's good to know, because then, yeah, I mean, and then if you're targeting, so if either a clean sheet or conceding 1 goal is statistically the most probable thing to happen, then you're targeting defenders who have more Ghost points.
Yeah,
Essentially.
Yeah.
100%.
And those are, hold on 1 second. I will let you know in just a quick moment. All right.
Best
I think we
ghosting
know.
defenders.
Best ghosting defenders. I got it right here. I got the Ghost Point
Yep.
tracker up.
There's a clear
We can
number
do it.
1 for sure.
It
Can
is.
we guess them? The top 5.
You can. Yeah. Go ahead.
Collins.
Like unison.
Collins is 4.
What?
Or
But again, there are players
Sugawara, right?
there are players in here who have only played 1 game.
you can't do that. Come on.
All right, so you want
Gotta- gotta
3
be
you want
Yeah,
you
3
want
games.
3 games.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Collins is 2.
Anthony.
Robinson?
Anthony's 1.
Yeah.
Sugawara.
Sugawara is down the list a ways, but maybe like 10 or 11.
Joint boy.
Joint Boy is 3. That's Porro, by the way, for listeners.
Michael Keane.
Neko?
Keane is just below
He started
Sugawara.
3, did he? Has he started on all 3?
Williams, right? Neko?
Nico.
Nico,
Yeah.
is 5.
Yeah,
So
good.
then
but
after that, you guys ready? I'll just give them to you after that.
Yeah.
We have Victor Christensen.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
What?
Victor Christensen with
Check out GPH today.
9.2 ghost points per game. Diogo
Wow.
Dello, I think is a
Nice.
trade-in for me. Diogo Dello.
Too.
And then everybody's favorite whipping boy, James Tarkowski, with 9.1 ghost points per start.
If only they didn't
Yeah.
concede 4 every game.
Right, but they won't. They won't.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Once Branthwaite comes back, I'll be a little more confident in that defense, but he still seems so far off based off Deitch's comments. Like,
Oh,
he
but
seems like-
he's Tarkowski's got to be a buy low for anybody. Anybody who's played this game before. You come on, you have to.
especially the upcoming schedule. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to buy low, but it's just about like how much would I be comfortable giving
Yeah.
up, knowing that Branthwaite may not be back till like November.
Kilman 8.9. This one
That was that one game.
This one hurts me. This one hurts me. Christian Romero 8.7. Mosquera, Genie, your boy 8.7.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got Sugawara and Keane. Virgil 8.4.
Kino.
Munoz and Digne.
Look at Digne, man.
I know.
Dini's been quietly good, actually. Like,
Yeah,
he-
but it's a matter of time he drops out. Like it happened last
sure?
season with Alex Moreno. Like Digne is good going forward, but he will get found out, and they have Champions League as well. Like Matson is too good to be on that bench, man.
Yeah, but it's not like Matson's known for defending. Like they fielded Digne against Arsenal. Like that says a lot.
Yeah.
And I think he did decent in that game, no? Or I'm
did.
completely off the road.
No,
He
no,
fouled
yeah,
the
did
shit
well.
out of Saka every 5 minutes, but everything.
Yeah, I don't see why Digne would be dropped from the starting lineup. I think he's been one of Aston Villa's better players, to be honest, from what I've seen at least. And at least fantasy hopefully agrees with my eye test. I haven't actually looked too much at his points.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well, I like it. I love a ghost point discussion. I know you do too, Ryan. And I think that's where we're headed this year with defenders. Like Sanjay, I love that you brought up the 1 goal kind of like cushion that we have now, because I think it makes it pretty clear in terms of finding defenders. And if you're an Inner Circle member, all you have to do is go to our website and go to the Inner Circle section and go to the Ghost Point tracker. Pretty simple. And also read Ryan's article, Ghost Point Hunters.
Yeah, come on.
What are you doing?
Seriously.
All right, nice. Let's move it along, boys. We are headed towards our international break stashes. So these are players that we're checking out the waiver wire. They might not be available everywhere, obviously, but we're just checking it out to see if they are. If they are, these are guys that we're considering adding and maybe holding for a little while to see if they pay off. We're excited about the long-term prospects of these guys, unless it's more of a short-term thing, in which case, let us know. Sanji, I believe you're up first.
So Chalobah, this was, I think, a transfer that kind of went a bit under the radar. I think there was a lot of distraction with like what was going on with Guehi, etc., Anderson. And then Chadi Riyad got injured in that cup game. So I think a spot opens up in that back line now for Chalobah to slot in and maybe allows Guehi to play a more natural, I think, left centre-back role. He's mentioned in the article, I believe. So go read the waivers article.
Nice.
Nedeljkovic is my next pick. It's
Big
because
Ned.
who's this Bogard or whatever person that started for Villa, scored real shit. Rating was crap. Got a yellow card. Like, I was shocked. He came out of nowhere. Like, I don't think anyone expected him to be in that starting 11.
No one saw that coming. No.
Yeah, there was so much hype for Nedeljkovic to start that game. So I don't know. Maybe after international break, he finally gets a spot. So I don't mind stashing if you've got one spot to kind of play with. Nelson Semedo, another one that went under the radar because he had his red card, I think, in the final game of last season versus Liverpool, was it? He wasn't available, right, for the start of the season. And then as soon as he was back into the lineup. I don't know if he came off with an injury and Doc came on, but I mean, international break is a perfect time for him to kind of recover from that. So if he is fit, then I think he's a decent stash because I would expect him to be the starting, left back for them?
Right back.
Right back. Okay.
Yeah. Doherty's not a long-term solution there.
Yeah.
Watch him
Maxwell Cornet transferred over to Southampton, was it? Surely he has to be one of the better players they have, like, compared to like their options. Like, Adam Armstrong isn't even lasting that long on the pitch anymore. They're taking him off early, so I think they're kind of screaming out for some form of an attacker. So I think there's a punt there. And then finally, a couple of people that are coming back from injury: Anderson All for Bournemouth and Rico Henry for Brentford. I believe they're both already on grass. At least Unal is training on grass. Rico had a closed doors friendly or something like that. So I think those are options that you can kind of look at for the next few game weeks, potentially getting at least one start maybe in the next couple. Who knows?
I would say that Evan Nielsen has left the door wide open for Enes Unal.
Was he that bad?
Oh, yes. Jeannie, you want to weigh in on this one?
Bro, man, that guy sucked. he didn't get good service, to be fair, but he did nothing on his own. Like, I get you're a striker and you want service, but dude, like, do something, man. Like, man, he's not starting for Chelsea. And if he does, like, bro, like, honestly, I'm starting Neto off the bench over this guy.
He was already dropped in one of my leagues. Chelsea, and then away at Anfield, coming
Oh
up.
man, I might drop him, to be honest. And he's like my forward too.
Bit harsh.
It's a bit harsh, yeah.
Sanji, you have a question in chat. Would you rather Chalobah or Delict?
In real life or
No, I think this is a fantasy discussion, given it's draft alchemy.
I don't even know how many points did Delict get versus Liverpool? I didn't even bother to look.
No,
up.
no, Liverpool's a bad game to look at.
I think
you gotta
I'm
look
gonna
at
go
him
Chalobah,
like
I think.
Delict did well off the bench the game against Brighton. He got like 3.5 in 10 minutes. I think Southampton is going to be the real show if he's going to be Maguire or is he going to be Martinez or is he going to be like worse than both?
Is it going to be
Yeah. I think I'll go
Van de
Chalobah.
Ven?
Oh God.
Chalobah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. All right, Ryan, moving on. Your September international break stashes.
I talked a bit about Estupinian already. He was also in GPH, also an undervalued. So I'm pretty high on him, per se. I doubt he's on the wire, so you're probably going to have to trade him in, but this will probably be the cheapest you can get him. So yeah, like I said, he was injured coming into the season, so we probably got him late in the draft. And then Hertzler has been singing his praises, and then, like I said, he came on against Arsenal and dropped 6 in 17 minutes. Took some corners. I think he's going to be good this season, especially with the new defensive scoring. Brighton seem a little bit tighter at the back.
Yeah.
And there's no Europe, so he should stay relatively fit. So pretty high on him. It shouldn't take too much to get him. And obviously, if he's on your wire, pick him up. Calafiori, Richie Rich. He's been a slow burn. I kind of priced that in when I drafted him. So he's been one of my kind of longest holds for someone that hasn't gotten a start yet, but had 2 good cameos. Brief one. Game week 2, and then he was brought on to kind of see it out against Brighton when we went down a man. I think he's the best hope for 1, kind of consistent starts at left back, and 2, getting ghosts. I think he's going to be getting some interceptions. And man, I don't know if you guys watched the Brighton Arsenal game, but he was streaking by himself on the left. Odegaard has to play a simple through ball to him, and he's clear on goal. For the winner, and
I did.
couldn't string that pass together. I was floored. Not for fantasy purposes, obviously, but I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, no one started him, nor should you have.
No, of course not. But like, I just couldn't believe the series of events.
But he looks like he's going to be lively.
Yeah, he's a horse. So I think there's a decent chance that he starts against Spuds. If so, I'm starting him. It's a kind of a later game, but I have options because I have Zinchenko as kind of cover. I think long term he's going to be the solution there. And since he hasn't started yet, and the next 2 games are Spurs and City away, I think this is again the cheapest you can get him. So I like stashing him. Jacob Ramsey, pretty simple. Has looked lively and fit when he came on. Bailey came off with a knock.
Yes, he does.
He's been going down hard. I think every game so far. The first 3 games I've watched, he's gone down where he's looked like he's going to come off with a bad injury, and finally he did this past game. So like his days are numbered, and Ramsey's got an eye for goal, and we just talked to death about the dearth of mids, and so he was in top of my waiver wire claims as a result this week. So I like picking him up. Kyle Walker is one of those guys that hasn't started yet, but you know he's going to take this spot from Lewis. And yeah, with the defensive scoring, he finished the season out pretty well.
You hate to admit it, but yeah, he did.
Yeah. So like, he's not the highest on my list, but I stashed him in one league. Victor Christensen, he's in Ghost Point Hunters article today as well. You just mentioned that he's been kind of quietly dropping 8 or 9 points of the Ghost Persuasion the first 3 game weeks in some tough matches. So he's one of those guys that will be a decent defender 3, I think, rest of season, and has a bit of upside where he can probably nick some attacking returns. Mikel Moreno, obviously really bad luck. Broke his shoulder the first training session with big Gabrielle falling on him.
Imagine.
You can't make it up, honestly. It's the most Arsenal thing ever. But it's, I hate to say this, but it's the best time possible to get that type of injury, because despite being out for like a little less than 2 months, he'll only miss 4 Premier League games. And those are also 2 tough fixtures. It sucks that he'll miss like I think it's Ipswich and maybe Leicester, the next 2 after Spurs and Man City. So
it's Leicester and Southampton.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew it was 2 promoted teams. You hate to miss those 2, but the fact that you can get a decent mid again and just missing 4 Premier League games, if you have the room, I know it's tough. You might be able to wait actually a couple weeks and kind of get him right before he comes back. But if
somebody might drop him, honestly.
I don't mind stashing him. He was dropped already in some of my leagues, and he wasn't. Yeah. I was the only one that bid on him in my other league.
Wow.
Late after the injury. So yeah, people are skittish. So you might be able to wait for it, but if you have an IR spot or another extra spot, I think, again, because of the mids, and I think he'll slot into that left central mid spot, and I think he'll be good.
The injury came at a weird time because like he went in some leagues. Like for example, he went for 59 in one of my leagues.
Damn.
Which yeah. But and that person's not going to drop him anytime soon.
Yeah.
If the injury, if the news of the injury had come out like just a little bit sooner, or he'd gone on waivers a little bit later, I mean, he would have been dirt cheap, or not claimed at all.
Yeah, I mean the one league that I was just talked about, he just emerged on waivers yesterday. What's today? Wednesday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah,
and I got him for $1. So.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and the other 2 leagues I got him for like around 20. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that works. And I mean, even if you compare him to like somebody like Partey, we've just talked about how terrible mids are, and he's been doing fine. So a tiny upgrade on Partey, which is, you can imagine that from Marino, like you'll take it.
Yeah, I think he's got. I think he'll have a decent upside. So I think Partey floor at the very least.
Yeah, totally. And that's what you want. I mean, again, with the mids acting the way they are. Nice. All right, Jeannie, round us out.
First one, I don't think it's a surprise that we all know I'm the original Sancho at 1-1 veteran there. I think based off everything I've been reading and something, I think he has a serious shot to get into that starting lineup. It's just about if and when, but they've been very the whole reason I read that they went for him is because of how garbage everyone has been off the left for Chelsea, and they think Sancho could be that solution. He's definitely not going to start the next game week, definitely not the weekend after, but he could start game week 6. Like, we do forget that he did have a decently good season last year.
Oh no, great season. Yeah,
so he was pretty solid last year. I do think that if he wins that spot, it's going to be a very good hold. He has as much upside as there is on the waiver wire. I think he's only like 30% rostered.
What?
Something like that. It's a crazy low number. It's under
44%. 44%, but that is up 23.4.
Okay, so when I saw it must have been a little lower. Yeah, so he's in home leagues, grab him. I'm pretty sure he's going to be gone in most IGL and community leagues, but if not, put in a bid for him. Next we got Ferdy. I'm obviously not that high on him, but when I'm going through like mids, I want to waver in. I'm like, oh God, this is such an ugly landscape. And if he's supposed to be back in training this coming week, so if he could start, I'm not expecting him to light the world up, but if especially in leagues that you're struggling for mids, then he's worth a pickup over like I'd rather pick up him than like Ndidi type of mold mids.
Yeah.
Next one is O'Shea. We all know how good this guy could be in fantasy. I think he could start next week or the week after. If he doesn't start, he's an easy drop and an easy re-pick up because, well, but yeah, he's one that could have Greaves level or better, to be honest. And then Ricardo, Leicester are horrible,
Ooh.
man. It's so sad to see because I'm a pretty big fan of what they did back in their title-winning season. We know I love Vardy, but I've dropped him in every league, and he's going to stay there. But Ricardo has been their only player that's been really good outside of Fatou.
Christensen.
Well, okay. Well, we'll keep. Yeah, I guess Christensen, but I do think Ricardo will win that spot sooner than later, and I think it might even be next week against Justin. So, yeah, I'm grabbing him. He's a points magnet, as anyone who played Fantrax before will remember. In the cup game, he racked up, I think it was like 20 ghost points. Last season, he was incredible as well in the championship. Cooper's honestly a complete idiot for the way he's rating him and Mavididi. Like, dude, this guy's awful, man. Like, Ricardo's been like one of the key members of this club for years, and he's just tossing him aside even when Leicester are struggling. Best cup player, doesn't even come off the bench. Like, come on, man. Like, so I do expect him to start. There might even be pressure for him to get started, because Cooper is definitely going to be in the hot seat sooner than later.
He's not a great manager.
No, he's awful, man.
Yeah, but can you name a person that looks more British than him?
I mean, that's fair.
If that's what Leicester are going for, then he's going to be their manager all season and going back into the championship.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
And then the last one is De Ligt, just because of how he scored off the bench against Brighton. I do think he could score similar to Maguire. I mean, this is a long shot, but they play Southampton, and we all know that you want to start anyone you can against Southampton. So
yeah,
you could do a lot worse by picking him up, and it's the first game of the game week. So if he doesn't start for some weird reason, international duty, injury, whatever, just drop him. But yeah, he's probably as good as they get for defensive streams this week in deeper leagues.
yeah, that's fair. I was skeptical about the Southampton thing. Like, I was a little bit, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to make this big call? I benched Minte for Wissa.
Ooh, yeah. I remember I wasn't a huge fan of that, but it worked out good.
It sure did.
Yeah, you start anyone you can.
Yeah, so
you
that
gotta
should just
start.
yeah, that should just tell you. I mean, they feasted, and Mbomo got 33 against Southampton. They're so bad. They're so bad. And the only thing to think about there is, like, I also streamed Norgard. This is a tangent, I'm sorry, but like, I also streamed Norgard, and the thing I kind of learned there is Southampton doesn't offer any resistance in the midfield whatsoever. So anybody who scores their points based upon any of those ghost point stats in the midfield, they're not going to get them.
Yeah, you can't intercept a ball that never comes.
Right, exactly. So, like, yeah, some of the other midfielders who are a little bit more attack minded than Norgard did fine, but he didn't. So, yeah, things to keep in mind in terms of just like fantasy matchups.
What did the Collins get against Southampton?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
I know it was a crazy score. I think we were talking about it yesterday.
I didn't get him in any leagues.
I think it was like 18.5 because he got an assist.
Yeah,
17.75.
So he got the assist. So he got 11 point or 10 or something like that for goals. So if De Ligt could get 8-9 goals, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
and then sell him to a deluded United fan, but not me. I'm not buying into that this year.
Fair enough. All right, nice. Anything else, guys?
Do we have time to take any questions from the chat?
We sure can. Chat, hit us up. What you got? I can go back a ways. During our Enes Unal discussion, Marst asked, "Is Unal good though?"
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's already played under Iraola, right? So
Just get Totti on this, man. He will fend for that for his life.
That's true. Toddy's a huge, he's a stan. He loves Unal. Are you guys? I know we talked about Tarkowski in terms of when Branthwaite comes back, it'll strengthen him. But are you targeting Branthwaite at all? He was good last year.
If
He
yeah, I
should be
mean,
free in
if,
leagues,
if
right?
we get good news on the injury front,
Yeah.
I doubt anyone's rostering him right now.
No. I don't know why you would. I drafted him and dropped him.
Man,
Long
he's
ago.
rostered
Long
in,
ago.
like most of my leagues. I don't know why, but
yeah, he was dropped in mine. I think he was drafted and then dropped.
he's rostered in 73% of leagues.
Oh, wow.
mental.
Wow.
Wild.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I can't pick him up anywhere.
Wow. All right, fair enough. Yeah, sorry, Sanji. Nothing else in chat.
Bums.
I know. I want to extend my time with you guys as well. I love you.
There's
But,
I see a question there.
Okay. We got one more,
Yeah.
and then we'll roll. Who's more worrying, Foden or Trippier?
Trippier.
Oh, Trippier for sure.
Not close.
Yeah.
Foden's just sick, man. But some probably has combination of like COVID, stomach virus.
I heard he got mono from making out with Stacy behind the bleachers.
True. Maybe him and Jack Grealish have been partying too much. Foden's
There's
body's
that.
not used to it.
That is very likely. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be fine, man.
Trippier is very, very concerning. That's a sell low for me. That is get him out of your team. From
He would have been a good one, yeah.
From everything I've heard, he has also been a really negative influence in the dressing room.
Surprised by that.
But
Same. I know.
But my question is like, how much could you really get for him? And isn't this whole saga going to be over in like 2 days? So if he stays, then you're going to be like, shit, because he's going to have to play. Like Newcastle, like I don't think Eddie Howe's going to continue to bench him week in, week out. I do think he will start. And if you're selling low, you're selling for like 3 fab. It's like at that point, I'm taking the gamble, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
He's like a league-winning gamble. If you could get him for a few fab, like there's really nothing you could like. There's no risk there. Like I've sent out a few low ball.
But isn't there a risk he leaves in January?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, if you're getting him for like literally less than pennies on the dollar, then
True.
Why not take the risk? Because there's going to be someone out there panicking, like, oh man, I'm going to drop him anyways. Might as well get like 7 fab for him. Then, yeah, why not?
What's the most you'll pay? 7.
No. I'd pay
1.
like for him. No, I'd give at least 25, man.
No.
Yeah,
25 of $100 budget, right? Because we got people out there with 300 and 1,000.
Yeah, 20.
That, so.
I'd give 25% of my full budget, like full starting the season budget. Yeah, I'd give 25%. In terms of players, like I'm just going on one of my rosters. I'd give up Evan Elson for him, 100%. I'd give up Caldwell. I'd give up. I don't know if I'd give up Greaves. Ooh. Actually, I probably would. I would take the gamble there. I'd give up Greaves for him. Yeah. So, I'm not selling like an asset that's going to be set and forget for me, but yeah, I'll take a risk on him, 100%.
Interesting. I just don't see it. But
25% is a little steep, I think, for me.
Honestly, but we all know how much I don't care about Fab. Like, I think I.
That's why I'm surprised you even have 25% to spend.
No, I have zero everywhere. This was purely hypothetical. I think I dropped like 60 Fab or something crazy on Madueke in my 18 home league. So that just goes to show you how much I care about the thing.
Did you get him?
Yeah, everyone else was like, dude, what's wrong with you?
I mean, that could end up being a pretty good buy, actually, for you.
Yeah, the next highest bid was 7 or 6.
Yeah, the only place I have him is where I drafted him.
Yeah,
But nice. All right, let's wrap it up now, guys. I like it though. Couple good questions at the end. Solid. All right, everyone. So yeah, international break. It's a perfect time for you to get on Discord. It's a perfect time for you to sort that if you haven't yet. Get yourself on Discord. Get yourself to the place where people are talking. You have a couple of options. First of all, there's an FPL draft server that is 100% free. You can get on there. You can join part of the conversation. There's a fan tracks channel on there. There's all kinds of different channels that you can talk and join. Then we also have Draft Society specific channels that are exclusive to the Inner Circle. So if you're part of the Inner Circle, let us know. We will absolutely get you into that Inner Circle, all of those different channels. We have one specifically for trades. We have one specifically for polls. We have one just for talking about team news. It's all there. Get yourself in Discord. Make that your goal. Over the international break, get into Discord. And then, if you want a little extra credit, join the Banta Boys Discord as well. Right, Sanji?
100%.
All right, nice. All right, we'll close it down there. Listeners, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Everybody joined the live show. You all are incredible. Thank you again for interacting with us and making this thing so much fun. Ryan, Sanji, Jeannie, you guys rule. Thank you all so much for everyone here at the Draft Society. We'll talk to everyone soon. Have a great international break. Cheers.
Bye.
There it is.